Hello again. Some viewers will perhaps be familiar with Diane Abbot and know that she is renowned for saying foolish and ill-considered things. Some of these comments of hers simply display appalling ignorance of the subjects about which she is talking, and at other times she makes broad generalisations about white people which are apt to raise eyebrows. It's almost as though she is, racist, and indeed anti-Semitic. I'll come to that in a moment. Under Jeremy Corbyn, with whom she enjoyed a love affair at one time, this ghastly woman was appointed Shadow Home Secretary. Many of us were not madly keen on Boris Johnson when he won the last election, but just imagine the alternative, which would have seen Diane Abbot running the Home Office. The latest idiocy of Abbott's centres around something said by Lee Anderson, Deputy Chair of the Conservative Party, a few days ago, after there was a marked reluctance on the part of some illegal immigrants to board the cruise ship Bibi Stockholm, which is being used as an alternative to luxury hotels to accommodate them. Anderson expressed the view that if they didn't like it, they could always fuck off back to France. It is worth noting that he did not suggest they should be sent back to war zones or somewhere that they might starve or be in danger. He specifically said that they ought to go to a prosperous, safe and well-to-do democracy where they had previously been living in safety. Not an unreasonable suggestion, most of us might think. There were howls of outrage and shock from Liberals, although whether or not this was because he used the F word, or more likely because he was dismissive of the supposed rights of illegal immigrants to remain in this country, it is impossible to say. Nobody was more vociferous in her condemnation than Diane Abbot, of course. When a small boat crowded with illegal immigrants sank in the Mediterranean yesterday, Abbot saw an opportunity to make a stupendously tacky and awful comment about the event by tweeting the news accompanied by her own opinion, which was, and I quote, "These migrants have indeed fucked off to the bottom of the sea." This was, of course, an almost inconceivably crass thing to say, and perhaps explains why she deleted the tweet soon after posting it. However, the internet has a very long memory, and hardly anything vanishes permanently once it's up there in cyberspace. In the description to this video, I give a link to Diane Abbot's original tweet. It will probably be remembered that it is only 4 months since Diane Abbot was suspended from being a Labour MP after she wrote to the Observer newspaper, the Sunday edition of The Guardian, saying that gypsies and Jews do not experience racism. Obviously, the Holocaust was not the hideous example of institutional racism that many of us thought it was against gypsies and Jews. What I find really puzzling about Abbot is that a woman who will be 70 next month should carry on in this way. She acts more like a teenager with low impulse control than a grown-up person. I am strongly reminded of something which Harold Wilson once said about Anthony Wedgwood Benn, which was that he had immatured with age. I think that much the same might be said of Diane Abbot.